Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the Candyman-diest of them all? You're calling me a murderer?
Oh, no. Sorry.
I do like candy, though.
The Sammy Davis Jr. kind of Candyman.
Yes, yes. Who loves candy? Reese Pieces.
What did you say?
Reese's. Look, let's not get into that. That's not what this channel is about. It's not what this channel is about.
I'm kind of smelling a spin-off coming. A spiritual sequel to Getting
Reese's
Real. Reese's
versus Reese's?
It's just candy talk.
Oh, candy talk. No one cares. Hello everyone, we're back for another review. We've watched the new Candyman, which, to my surprise, was a direct sequel, because I did not watch, after the first trailer, I didn't watch or read anything about it.
Oh, nice. So you were like...
So whenever I heard Anthony McCoy, because I'd watched Candyman as a kid quite a bit, I was like, oh! And then I saw Vanessa Williams, and I was like, oh!
Good for you, though. For, like, honestly, the movie that was supposed to come out last April, and you were like, I'm just going to avoid it.
Yeah.
I'm going to avoid everything for the last year and a half.
That's how I do things.
Man.
I watch the first trailer, don't watch anything else. But anyways, Candyman.
Candyman. We said it twice. Does it count?
Actually, we just said it 3 times, so it only counts if you're looking in a mirror. So we're okay.
I've got a lot of questions about Candyman.
These technically are mirrors, but we haven't
yes.
We haven't been looking at them. The movie I just watched is directed by DaCosta. She wrote it with Jordan Peele. It is a direct sequel to the 1992 original film, which is based on a book or short story by Clive Barker.
Yes.
And it completely ignores the 2 sequels, and it stars Yahya Abdul-Mateen II as Anthony McCoy, Tiana Paris as his girlfriend. It's got Coleman Domingo, the dude with the greatest voice ever in the world.
He's my favorite dude, like right now. Oh, he's the best.
But you also got Vanessa Williams coming back, and you have Tony Todd coming back.
And a little bit of Virginia Madsen, too. You know?
Just her voice. Just her voice.
But still.
Anthony and his girlfriend, they moved to Cabrini Green, which has been gentrified. The projects have been destroyed, and all the artists and all the cool people have moved in and have taken over. And he is a struggling artist who hasn't painted anything in 2 years, and he gets inspiration from the story of Candyman, and things unfold from there. It's a Candyman movie. If you've seen Candyman, thank God there's no mirror, because we've already said it
way too many times. I mean, you said you watched a lot as a kid. You a big fan of Candyman?
Oh yeah, I definitely love the first one. I liked the second one as a kid. I don't know if I'd like it now.
No, yeah.
And the third one's just dookie.
Just straight dookie. I love the original just because it's like so atmospheric. It's not your general horror film, and this really like pays off in that regard too. Like it feels just like, not just like, there are some big differences. But like the atmosphere, like it's haunting a little bit. The score, like it even kind of mirrors the opening, of the first movie with like, instead of looking down on the city, you're looking up towards the sky. Like it just feels like the original Candyman movie with like this new story. And
but this one is like super quick. The first original, you felt like you were in Helen Lyle's story, and she was slowly uncovering things about the urban legend and the folklore of Candyman. I don't know. I was afraid to say it.
I was scared to say it.
I don't know why, because it's not real.
Not that you know.
Not that I know. But you also understand like the history of Cabrini Green a little bit in the first one and in this one, and it's been over 30 years since the last one. I like that it plays with the idea of like in the projects or whatever, I can't remember how they call it in the movie, but how in black neighborhoods there's a perpetuation of violence, and Candyman is that like not humanization. He's the characterization of that idea that white people have about the neighborhood, and so he is that fear that black people have about their own neighborhood. It's like it's violent and everything, and so I love that they play with that, and they do that a little bit in the original, but that's more about like race and racism. And this one is more about like how it's perceived by other races. And I really like that about this movie.
Coleman Domingo talks about how Candyman's not a dude. Candyman's like everybody, like everyone who's gone through this. And I love that, like, we get this kind of weird history of, like, oh, every time that, like, this act of violence, like brutality is performed against this black man, whether that's in the 18th century, the 19th century, the 20th century, like, each time that legend builds.
Yeah.
And I like that we learned that. And it wasn't just like, oh, well, it's the same Candyman, you know? It kind of feels like a different Candyman, but that each time it's like what you said, Candyman is like that ideal that like white people have about that neighborhood.
Yeah.
But they've created Candyman.
Exactly, yeah.
Like,
it's
so
their
crazy.
it's their violence that has created this vengeful ghost.
The more I think about this movie, the more I really like it. I think it's so disorienting in a good way that like when you walk out, you're like, okay, hang on a second. Yeah. What just happened? Let me think about everything. And then you start to, okay, I get it now. I'm understanding a little bit more. And then you just like yeah, that like killed. I loved it.
My one complaint though is it felt like there was something missing.
Yeah.
Because it goes from, our rising conflict and our climax, and then it's just like movie ends. I was left wanting more.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have a sequel planned or not, but I wanted more of Yahya being inflicted by the Candyman and like what's happening to him.
And I really thought too that he's an artist who isn't, honestly, if you look at his art, not that great. Sorry, but it's
hey, that's your interpretation.
I guess, yeah, sorry, that's my interpretation of the art. I love the little moments that he has where he kind of digs that like there's now this like notoriety around his art, and that he kind of is like enjoying it, and then when he goes and talks to the art critic and all that, and like you can tell that he likes it.
Yeah. And
I wish we would have gotten a little bit more of that. And there's a whole like weird subplot with his girlfriend and her dad being an artist, and I wish they would have. You know what? Honestly, I think my biggest complaint is that there's not more focus on her though. Too.
Yeah.
I feel like 15, 20 more minutes. This movie, I don't know. It's like, what would they have added? Would it have been good? I don't know.
But also, I needed it.
At the end, you're like, oh, it's over.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, if you're going into this thinking that you're gonna get like a Halloween, you're not. That means that you haven't seen the original Candyman.
Yes.
Because the original Candyman is a slow burn.
Yeah.
And this kind of is a little bit of a slow burn, but there's a few like kills early on. You're like, okay, it kind of whets your appetite. But this is not like your slasher film. This is your artsy, no pun intended, kind of atmospheric. Oh, also there's a serial killer.
Out of 10, how many candies are you going to give this movie?
I'd give like a solid 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. It looks great. I'm really excited to see what DaCosta does. I kind of want a sequel, but also I kind of don't. This movie conflicts me because I'm still confused by it, but it's still, I just really, really like it. Acting is great. It looks beautiful. The score is really cool.
Oh yes, really good.
And they don't really rely too much on the old. It gives old Candyman its due while also being like, you know what, this is our own Candyman.
I would give it a 7 out of 10. The only hang up I have is there wasn't enough with Anthony dealing with Candyman.
Yeah.
That I wanted more. I wanted to get into his psyche a little bit more because, I'm a huge fan of The Fly.
Yeah. And
we see a lot of Brundle go through this stuff. So I wanted something similar to that. But at the end of the day, great movie, great sequel to the 1992 film. I don't want to spoil it, but if you've seen the original and you recognize certain things, you're going to quickly pick up what's happening.
Yeah.
And so the turn at the end of the movie is not really a turn if you've seen the original movie. But if you haven't seen it in a while, you're going to be like, your jaw is going to be like, oh.
Yeah. And I would say, too, just a piece of advice, go watch original Candyman, then go watch this movie. I think they do they make great companion pieces, too. So, and you won't be as lost,
Candyman.
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 Candyman?
Candyman.
Un esercito di prodi